I met Anchored through the podcast, and straight away the podcast resonated. It was like each week messages came into my ears. I had just a profound knowing from the podcast that this was material that was relevant for me, it was helpful. I started to use it, was thought-provoking. Yeah, I definitely relate to the people pleasing, a little bit of perfectionism kind of kicking in there. Life before Anchored wasn't bad necessarily, but it was chaotic. There was an aspect of turbulence with it. I didn't have so much control. It was kind of a little bit flat, and there was a bit of kind of stuckness. And after Anchored, it's like the vista of my life opened up. And the really massive shift after Anchored it was quite a revolution for me, because I was giving from a half-empty cup. So it wasn't the best quality energy consistently, and that's really understandable. And so through Anchored and working with Victoria and the podcast and the amazing women that identify as female, those relationships and that like treasured container of Anchored, I transformed. And the big transformation for me was I put myself first, and there was a little bit of pushback for a while, but I persevered through that. And now what's radically different is that I put me first no matter what. I can actually pretty well consistently say that that's a truth that I live by. The thing that was really amazing with that is that my life energy really increased after a while. And so I started giving from my overflow, and all the people in my life actually really benefited. But what's even more exciting is that I benefited. And the thing about Anchored that's amazing is that the change is so gentle, and because it feels that I'm more of me and I'm more authentic and I'm more of everything, that it doesn't feel that radically different. But when I compare side by side, before and after, then it really is like, oh, wow, who is this person? And I like this person, and who do I want to be, and how do I want to curate my life? Anchored for me, everybody's kind of got different flavors, so it's really cool to see the different journeys of what happens for people. I love breath work, but for me it was very electric and very powerful and very spiritual. So that was also a homecoming and a reconnecting of parts for me. The effects of breath work are still unfolding, and I received some amazing insights and understandings and kind of deep treasure, breath work. And kind of the package, when you put somatics, breath work and thought work protocol together, and you're doing it, as a community, and it's profound and it's beautiful and it's tender, and there's times where it's, to be real, sometimes it can be confronting, but I got so much growth from those parts too. I wouldn't take those bits away. But the thing about Anchored is Victoria is amazing. If you've listened to the podcast, you kind of get that, and I think that's kind of almost a given. The thing that I didn't expect was seeing the blossoming of other people. I couldn't see my own blossoming, but I absolutely 100% could celebrate and cheer and love and see reflected the people that were growing alongside me, and how much that moved me and how much that helped my growth. If you are interested to do Anchored, give yourself the gift and go with all of it that you possibly can, and do it for you. The other thing about Anchored is you have all of these synchronicities, and so there'll be a timing of a podcast, or somebody will talk about things, and it's kind of, on the surface it appears kind of like, wow, that's a bit funny, but all of these crazy things kind of line up. And I found that was true for me, but I also noticed that was true for lots of other people too. There's something profound and deep and Anchored, and I'd highly recommend it.